On our 10-year anniversary, I took my husband to the restaurant where we first met. I handed him a scrapbook I'd made of our memories. He looked bored. Halfway through dinner, he said, "I'm seeing someone else. She's more fun." Then he showed me a picture. It was my cousin. I didn't cry. I just handed him an envelope. Inside was a receipt. He'd accidentally paid for their hotel room with my card. He turned pale. And that was just the beginning. I'm 38. I live in Fort Worth, Texas. Been married to Derek for 10 years. We've been together for 12. I thought we were solid. Not perfect, but we made it through job losses, my dad dying, his mom getting sick, all the hard stuff life throws at you. We didn't have kids, but we had 2 rescue dogs. We bought a small house together in Benbrook, fixed it up with our own hands. He handled the outside, I did the inside. It was ours. I've always worked, first in an office, then as a paralegal at a mid-sized law firm downtown. Derek ran his dad's landscaping company after his dad retired. He had employees under him. He made decent money, came home dirty but proud. Lately, things were off. He was always on his phone, guarding it like it held state secrets. Late nights at estimates. Sex faded to almost nothing. He stopped noticing when I got my hair done. Forgot birthdays. I brought it up. He brushed me off. We're just getting older, Heather. It happens. Still, I wanted to believe it could get better. That it was just a phase. I didn't want to throw away a decade. Our 10th anniversary came up. I wanted to do something meaningful. I made a scrapbook of our relationship. Spent hours putting it together, from our first photo booth strip at the state fair to boarding passes from a trip to Oregon. I even glued in the tag from the first bottle of wine we drank on our back porch. I made reservations at that little Italian place in Sundance Square where we had our first real date. I wore the same blue dress. I'd kept it all these years. I curled my hair like I did back then. Put on the necklace he gave me that Christmas he got his first big contract. He was late. When he finally walked in, he didn't even smile. "Hey," he said, like we were roommates meeting for errands. I handed him the scrapbook after we ordered. He flipped through a few pages, then pushed it aside. "That's cute," he mumbled. My stomach sank. Still, I tried to make small talk. Told him I was proud we made it to 10 years. He looked bored. Played with his water glass. Then, while the waiter cleared our plates, he leaned back and said, loud enough for people nearby to hear, "I'm seeing someone else." I stared at him. I thought I misheard. "She's younger. More fun. You know her, actually." He pulled out his phone and showed me a picture. It was Lacey, my cousin. She was wearing my old hoodie, the green one with the bleach stain. I didn't cry. I didn't even blink. I reached into my purse and handed him an envelope. He opened it. Inside was a receipt from the Rosebriar Motel, 2 towns over, from last Saturday. $212. Paid with our joint credit card. I'd found it on our statement and called the motel. Told them my wallet was stolen, asked for a copy of the invoice. The woman faxed it over, said the man had signed with the name Derek W. He looked up from the receipt, white as a ghost. "What is this?" "You used my card to pay for your little getaway," I said. "Nice touch." He opened his mouth, but I was already standing. "Happy anniversary, Derek." I left. I drove straight to my friend Kelly's house. Slept on her couch. Cried for 10 minutes. Then I stopped. I wasn't going to break down. Not over him. Not over Lacey. No, I was going to ruin them. Slowly, carefully, legally. And I did. The morning after, I called in sick to work. Sat on Kelly's back porch with coffee and a notepad. I made a list. I knew Derek wouldn't leave quietly. He'd deny. Blame me. Maybe even try to make me feel guilty. But I had an edge. I'd been the one managing our bills, our mortgage, our taxes. I had access to everything. First, I locked him out of the joint credit card. froze it. Then I moved half the money from our joint checking into my personal account. Legally, in Texas, that's mine too until the divorce, but I wasn't playing nice. I also found out he hadn't filed taxes properly for 2 years. He'd been pocketing cash from side jobs and not reporting it. That was gonna come in handy. But it got better. Remember the landscaping business? His dad had signed it over to him, but I found out something interesting in the paperwork. I was listed as a secondary stakeholder because I helped secure the small business loan 2 years ago. My credit had backed it. Legally, I had rights. So I called his supplier, the one who sold him mulch and pavers, and told them we were going through a separation, and I wanted copies of all outstanding invoices. They emailed me everything. He owed over $9,000. He was behind on 3 months of payments. But instead of paying that off, he'd been blowing money on hotel rooms and dinners, some of which, surprise, were also on our shared card. I printed everything, filed it neatly. Then I hired a lawyer. Not just any lawyer. A divorce attorney who used to work with us at my law firm. Her name was Susan. She was sharp and calm and terrifying in a courtroom. She agreed to represent me. That same week, I filed for divorce. Cited adultery. In Texas, that matters. He got served at Lacey's apartment. Kelly's husband, Tom, is a friend of the cop who did the serving. According to him, Derek answered the door shirtless. Lacey was behind him, wearing nothing but a towel. He didn't call me. He showed up to my work 2 days later. Waited outside in his truck. When I saw him through the glass, I felt nothing. He tried to act like it wasn't a big deal. Come on, Heather. You don't have to go nuclear. We can work this out. You cheated on me with my cousin. He had the nerve to shrug. She came on to me first. I almost laughed. You used my money to cheat on me, Derek. That's not just low. That's dumb. I walked away. Later that night, he tried to log into the security system for the house. I'd already changed the passcode. Cameras too. He didn't have access to anything anymore. He started calling my mom, texting my friends, telling them I was acting crazy. But it didn't work. See, Lacey had a reputation. She'd slept with at least 3 guys at family reunions. Everyone knew she was messy. Nobody believed Derek was some innocent victim. But then I found something else. Something that made my stomach turn. A week after filing, I was digging through our shared cloud storage. I was looking for photos of the dogs, ones I wanted to back up before Derek tried to delete anything out of spite. I saw a folder labeled Clients, Estimates. It wasn't locked. Curious, I clicked. Inside were dozens of video files. I figured they were job site walkthroughs, or before and after shots. I opened one at random. It was a bedroom. A cheap motel room. The camera was shaky, like it was propped on a dresser. And then I saw them. Derek, Lacey. They weren't doing anything yet, just laughing, drinking, touching. I slammed my laptop shut, heart pounding. Then I opened it again and downloaded the video. There were more. At least 6 others. Different dates, same setup. He was recording them. And here's the kicker, in Texas, if one party doesn't consent to being recorded in a private setting like a bedroom, it's illegal. I called Susan, my lawyer. She was quiet for a moment, then said, Heather, if Lacey didn't know, this could go criminal. At minimum, it makes him look unstable. Dangerous. I didn't call Lacey. Not yet. Instead, I started documenting everything. I made a digital folder with timestamps, emails, credit card receipts, the motel footage. I backed it all up on a USB and mailed it to a P.O. box I opened that week. I wasn't done. I also reached out to Derek's biggest landscaping client, a local real estate agent who used him exclusively for her staging homes. I knew her casually from a networking brunch. I told her, quietly, carefully, that Derek was being investigated for financial irregularities and maybe wasn't reliable. She dropped him within days. His company started bleeding money. Suppliers were calling. Clients were backing out. And just when I thought I'd taken enough from him, he went and gave me another gift. He showed up to the house unannounced. He knew I'd changed the locks, but he banged on the door like he owned the place. "Heather, open up." I looked through the peephole. He was drunk, slurring, pacing on the porch. "I just want to talk." I called the cops. When they pulled up, he tried to talk his way out of it. Told them I was his wife, that this was his house. The cop looked at me and asked, "You want him gone?" I nodded. They arrested him for public intoxication. He spent the night in jail, and then the text started. Not from Derek. From Lacey. The first message came at 2:13 a.m. "Lacey, you're ruining his life. You need to stop. This isn't who you are." I stared at my phone for a minute, then locked it and went back to bed. But she didn't stop. The next day I had 6 more messages from her. "Lacey, you're bitter. Lacey, we didn't plan this. It just happened. Lacey, you think he won't hate you after this? He told me how cold you got. He was lonely." That one almost made me laugh. Lonely? The man who spent half our marriage with his face in his phone? Who couldn't even pretend to be interested in me on our anniversary? I didn't respond. But she escalated. She messaged my mom. Said I was going too far. Said I was obsessed with revenge. My mom told her to never contact her again. Then she posted on Facebook a photo of her and Derek at some music festival, him kissing her cheek. Caption, "Love wins." She tagged me. Comments rolled in. Some people congratulated them. Others weren't so kind. My cousin Jennifer commented, "You're sleeping with your cousin's husband. That's not love. That's trash." Lacey deleted the post within 2 hours, but it was too late. I'd already screenshot it. Sent it to Susan. We were building a custody case, not for kids, but for the dogs. And public behavior mattered. Then I got a call. It was from Derek's dad. We hadn't talked much since the split, but he'd always been decent to me. He sounded tired, worn down. "Heather, I'm sorry. I didn't raise him to be like this. I didn't say anything. He told me you were trying to destroy him. But I heard what happened." I asked around. He paused. "I'm pulling my name from the company. I'm going to make sure the bank knows you were the one holding it up. I'm not helping him anymore." I exhaled. "Thank you." And then, the twist I didn't expect. "He's been seeing someone else too," he said. "Not just Lacey. Another one. Some client's wife." My blood ran cold. "Are you sure?" "I've seen the messages," he said. "He doesn't even try to hide it. I think Lacey has no idea." That's when the final piece of the puzzle clicked. He wasn't just cheating. He was addicted to it. He was reckless, careless, dangerous. And I had just the plan. I waited a week. Didn't respond to Lacey's texts. Didn't comment on her social media. I wanted her to think I was done, that I'd moved on. During that week, I finished building what I called the package. It included a printed copy of the motel invoice, a flash drive with 3 of the videos Derek filmed, the most obvious ones, screenshots of texts from Derek to the other woman, the client's wife, that I pulled from our shared phone account records. He used to text her late at night under Eric, tree quote. A handwritten note that said, "You were never the only one. You were just the easiest." I didn't put a return address. I mailed it to Lacey's apartment using regular old USPS. Nothing traceable. 3 days later, she went silent. Her social media disappeared. Her number stopped texting me. But Derek? He showed up at my work parking lot again. Only this time, he wasn't angry. He looked broken, eyes sunken, clothes wrinkled. He hadn't shaved in days. He knocked on my window as I sat in my car. I rolled it down halfway. "What do you want?" "She left," he said. "She took everything. Her TV, her clothes, the couch. Said I'm sick. Said she should have known." I stared at him. He waited for a reaction. I gave him none. She said you sent her something. A package. I did. He blinked. Why? You thought you were hurting me. You didn't realize I was just watching. Collecting. He looked like he was about to cry. I lost everything, Heather. I nodded. You haven't even seen what's coming. I put the car in reverse and left him standing there. That night, I got a call from Susan. The court just approved a temporary restraining order, she said. Based on the footage and the harassment. It's official. He can't come near you or the house. Then she added, also, his company is being audited. IRS opened an inquiry last week. Looks like someone tipped them off. I didn't say a word. Because I did. 2 months after Lacey left him, Derek tried calling me again. He left a voicemail this time. Heather. I get it now. I messed up. I was stupid. You were the only real thing I ever had. I miss you. I miss our dogs. I miss us. Please. Can we talk? I listened once, then deleted it. There was no us left. Just a man who burned everything down and realized too late that he couldn't handle the ashes. Meanwhile, I had been rebuilding in silence. I moved back into our house, legally mine now after the first round of hearings. The court granted me 75% of the shared assets. Because of the adultery and financial misconduct, Derek lost almost everything in the divorce. I kept the dogs. The judge didn't even debate it. They were registered under my name. Derek hadn't even taken them to the vet in 2 years. The landscaping business collapsed 2 weeks after the IRS froze his accounts. Turns out he owed a lot more in taxes than I knew. The real estate agent who dropped him? She spread word fast. New clients stopped coming. Old clients backed out. His dad refused to bail him out. Lacey stayed gone. Then came the final blow. I was leaving the grocery store one Friday night when a woman stopped me near the entrance. Are you Heather Wilcox? I hesitated. Yes, she smiled a little, but it didn't reach her eyes. I'm Danny. My husband was the one Derek was texting behind your back. I saw the screenshots. I recognized the number. I wanted to say thank you. I froze. I left him, packed my things and moved out last month. I thought I was crazy. Thought maybe I was paranoid. But seeing it written out, seeing how many others there were, she shook her head. Anyway, just wanted you to know, you weren't the only one. And you weren't wrong. She turned and walked away. I stood there in the parking lot, stunned. I had gone to war to destroy one man, but I didn't realize how many people he'd hurt. How wide his damage spread. I just lit the match. But even now, I won't pretend I didn't make mistakes too. I stayed too long. I trusted too much. I looked the other way when things didn't feel right. I gave my heart to someone who didn't know how to hold it. But in the end, I took it back. Piece by piece. With grit. With proof. With no drama, no screaming, just facts, evidence, and the law. The last time I saw Derek, he was sitting outside the county courthouse. Alone. Same wrinkled clothes. Same broken face. He looked up as I walked past. I didn't stop. I didn't say a word. He made his choices. And I made sure he lived with them. Every day after.